Hi everybody, this is Laura. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today I have a layout share for you. I have a number of layouts that I made for different hops and collaborations, and I thought that before I put them away in their albums, I would show them all to you in a layout share. A lot of these layouts have process videos, not all of them, but I'll point out which ones do and which ones don't. On my channel, there are playlists so that if you're interested in any particular layout, you can easily find it by looking at the playlist that represents the hop or the challenge. And I'll let you know where the layouts would be found as we go along. I'm going to get started right in. This first set of layouts was made for A Punched Out Thursday to Die For. A Punched Out Thursday to Die For is a collaboration in which we use punches and dies to make scrapbooking layouts. All of these layouts have process videos on my channel. This first layout was made using a number of items in my stash, including a die cuts with a view paper pad. I also used some fussy cut flowers, and I love using hexagons on my pages, so I combined a lot of things that I really love to use. I love this bird and these butterflies. These were all cut out from the die cuts with a view pad. And then I also used this white title, and I have lots of pearls on the layout as well. This second layout, called Crazy Good Time, was made using my creative scrapbook kit that featured some 49 and Market papers, and then I used some punches that were in my stash along with lots of pearls, and then I used a number of embellishments that are from 49 and Market, and then I also used these beautiful flowers. This layout was made without any pattern paper. I have lots of mixed media on the background. I have some die cut frames. I used some strips of pearls going around the photos, and then also these Prima swirls of pearls in the background. I have a number of white flowers, and then these are heat embossed chipboard branches. This layout I made recently using a 49 and Market sketch. I used an older paper collection from 49 and Market for the background papers, and then a lot of the embellishments are from the Christmas Spectacular kit, which is a recent kit, and I got a lot of these from my creative scrapbook kit. And then I used a stencil that I received in a previous My Creative Scrapbook kit to make some poinsettias on the background. For this layout, I used a pad that was sent to me by a manufacturer that sells on Amazon. I loved the way the papers were very grungy and distressed looking. I thought that it went really well with this photo that I wanted to scrapbook. I have some mixed media in the background. I layered up a number of pieces of cardstock, and then I put the pattern paper on top, and then I added some modeling paste and some splatters. I also used a number of embellishments that I thought would go well with the theme. And then I have this piece that I made using some clay, and then I covered it with some paints and some jewels. This layout was made with some 49 and Market papers and embellishments. This is probably an older collection. I have a lot of hexagons on this page too. On this page they are different sizes, and I once again add a little bit of dimension to them by putting some cardstock hexagons behind the pattern paper. And then I combined some dimensional flowers and some fussy cut flowers with some die cut pieces. Halloween layouts are one of my favorite things to scrapbook. So this is a picture of my daughters taken in Salem, Massachusetts at the Bewitched statue. I used lots of authentic papers, and then I used a lot of assorted Halloween themed embellishments that were in my stash. I used a little bit of twine along this edge, and then also one of my punches to punch out a border. The next set of layouts were created for Stretch the Sketch. All of these also have process videos. In Stretch the Sketch, we take a sketch that's intended for a 12 by 12 inch layout, and we either stretch it to a larger format or we shrink it to a smaller one. For quite a while, I've been working on these albums that are more about me than about my daughters. 99% of my scrapbooking is about my children, but I was inspired by Janet Fritz of Galaxy Girl Creations in one of her classes to document my own story. So it's a little unusual for me, but some of these layouts have photos of me and stories about my life. And so I thought that I would make one of them for each of my daughters, and it's taking me a little bit of time to get all of the layouts done. This first layout is called Beautiful. These are photos of my mother when she was much younger than I am now, and I called it Beautiful because I thought my mom was such a beautiful, classy lady, and I wanted to document the way that she looked when she was young. My children only knew her when she was in her 70s, I believe. So this layout was made using a My Mind's Eye collection, and then I did a lot of fussy cutting of flowers, and I added some jewels. This layout is called Tiny L. This is a photo of me when I was, I'm guessing, about 2 or 3. And I use a different My Mind's Eye collection. I combined some punched out and some straight borders on the left-hand side, and then I punched out some circles, and I included some layered butterflies too. So this layout is called I Love You So Much. This is a layout where I have my grandmother and my grandfather, and here's my grandfather and my grandmother along with me when I was a baby. I again used a My Mind's Eye collection. These are all older collections, but I think that the older photos go really nicely with these papers. Here's another layout that was made with a My Mind's Eye collection. This is called I Want to Remember All of These Little Moments, and this page has to do with me spending time doing what I love to do, which is being with my family. So I used a banner die, and I used one of the frames. That was one of the embellishments that went along with the collection. And then I cut this title in half and added some enamel dots and some embellishments down here. This layout, Two Sisters, was made using an older collection. It was a collection that came in a huge scrapbooking kit, and my daughter Julia found this for me at a thrift store, and I wanted to use it right away. I loved the vibe of the paper. I thought that it had kind of a 70s feel to it, and I thought that was perfect because that's my sister's favorite decade. So here's a picture of the two of us when we were out together one day, and I definitely wanted to have this as part of an album about me. So those are all of my Stretch the Sketch layouts. These next two layouts also have process videos. I made these for Mixed Media Mayhem, which is one of my favorite hops. I love participating in it. I had to stop doing it because I just didn't have enough time to create layouts for Mixed Media Mayhem and my other obligations. So it was really hard to stop doing it because I really, really love it. I love mixed media, and I always loved the prompts, but something had to give. So unfortunately, I had to stop doing it, but I did create a number of layouts that I'm really happy that I made while I was participating in it. So this first layout is called Love You. I use just a little bit of pattern paper. This is actually paper that I got from my scrap envelopes. I have some sprays in the background, lots of stamping, modeling paste, and then I have some dimensional flowers and these beautiful butterflies. These are chipboard butterflies that were heat embossed. This layout is called Unhinged. My family went to Salem, Massachusetts. We go there a lot. And this was a photo that was taken when we went into the museum that they have there. And it was a sculpture made of all hinges. It's hard to see that in this picture, but when you get up close, it is entirely made of hinges. So I thought that would be a good title. And then I included some metal hinges. In the background, I have lots of mixed media, some stamping, and lots of stencil work. I also used some tags. These were made using the Tim Holtz Abandoned collection. And then I also have a couple of little embellishments from my stash that are Halloween themed. These next few layouts were made for Rainbow Magic. Rainbow Magic was a hop in which we made a monochromatic layout based on a different color that was assigned each month. And I didn't get to do all of the colors, but I'm really happy with the layouts that I did create. So this first layout is called Brooklyn, and I use some 49 End Market papers and embellishments. I have some striped paper on the left. I have lots of mixed media on the right, and then I have a number of the 49 End Market dimensional flowers, some die cuts, and then I also have some sentiments, and then I use some dies to cut out the title. This layout, Fun and Good Times, was made using, again, lots of mixed media in the background, some stenciling, modeling paste, lots of stamping and splattering, and then a number of different embellishments. I had to make everything either purple or a neutral color, so I used a lot of black and some white against the purple background. And then I used this Creative Memories cutter that I rediscovered that was in my stash, and then a couple of items from Felicity Jane, and I believe these are from, I think, Heidi Swap. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. And then this layout was made with some 49 End Market papers. I have lots of flowers, dimensional flowers on this layout. I used a lot of chipboard that I heat embossed. I did some stitching on the background, and then you could see there are also some chipboard butterflies, and I combined that with lots of little branch die cuts and some jewels. These next two layouts were made for two of my YouTube friends who had reached some important milestones in their YouTube journey. This first one is a scrap lift of a Joanne Bartel layout. She loves Pink Fresh Studio, so I used some Pink Fresh Studio papers and embellishments on my page. I used a punch. This is a Martha Stewart punch. I used that along the edge, and then I used a cut file in the center layered on top of a pattern paper. I have a number of different embellishments layered on the right and on the left-hand side, and then a bunch more over here, including a tag with a bow. And then I always like to finish off my layout with some self-adhesive pearls. This layout was made to celebrate a milestone for Mel Walkden. I hope I'm saying your last name right, Mel. And I absolutely loved one of her layouts, and so I scrap lifted it with a Halloween theme. I used this Creative Memories tool that I realized I had in my stash that she had also used on her layout, and then I used some leaves, and I also used a lot of Halloween embellishments and lots of mixed media in the background with a Prima stencil and also some waxes and sprays. These last three layouts do not have process videos. This first one I made for a Punched Out Thursday to Die For when I was on a retreat. Even though I don't think it's a terrible layout, I didn't like it enough to use it for Punched Out Thursday to Die For, but I still think it's okay and fine to put in one of my albums. So I did a lot of punching out of strips of paper. These are all kind of leftover papers from this paper collection. I used some modeling paste in the background, and then I use a number of farm-related embellishments to go along with our trip to this alpaca farm. This layout also does not have a process video. It's very simple, and I just wanted to document our trip to Johnny Rockets. We used to go there all the time, and then they redid the restaurant and we didn't like it as much, and they didn't have the same items on their menu. So I did want to document, though, when the kids were little and we would go to the mall, we used to go there all the time. So I printed this off from the internet. I even printed this off because this is something that they do all the time there. They bring over the ketchup and they make a smiley face. I didn't think to take a picture of it, but there was a picture of it on the internet. And then I used a number of embellishments and fussy cut pieces from some pattern papers that I had in my stash. And then finally, this layout was made using the leftovers from my creative scrapbook kit. I don't know what happened to the footage of this layout. That's why there isn't a process video for it. That happens every now and then. But I started by having a piece of white paper and I put these hexagons in the background, and then I felt like it looked a little boring the next time I looked at it, so then I fussy cut out around the hexagons, and then I put this piece of pattern paper in the background. Like I said, I was using up some papers, the leftovers from a kit, so I didn't have quite enough, so I had to piece it together behind these tags so you wouldn't see the line of the paper. But I combined the hexagons and the pattern paper with lots of beautiful flowers. I love this butterfly, and these are some branches that were in the flower packs, and I included some chipboard, and then also I tied some bows on the tags. So those are all of the layouts that I have to share with you today. I am happy to be ready to put these away into my albums, and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I want to say thank you so much to every one of you, not just for watching my video, but for watching it all the way to the end. I really hope that you enjoyed it and maybe got an idea or two for your own scrapbook layouts. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I hope you'll join me again on my channel soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.